we're here with Gylfi Hilmerson, aka the Leg Man. Gylfi, what is Attach a Leg Grenada?
Attach a Leg Grenada is a project that I created once we had established a certain kind of prosthetic service here on the island of Grenada, and we proved the value of it, and we were changing the lives of people, and it was obvious that we needed to carry on with the project. So we came up with Attach a Leg Grenada as an umbrella organization to continue our efforts to make the lives better for amputees on this island of Grenada where we live.
And when was it established?
Attach a Leg Grenada took a few years in the making, but it's been 2.5 to 3 years now where Attach a Leg Grenada has operated under that name.
And how do the people, the amputees, for various reasons, how do they actually find you?
In the beginning, the General Hospital in the capital of St. George's, they found us a few amputees that we initiated the program with helping, and then we got in touch with the National Council for the Disabled in Grenada, and they supplied us with some names for amputees, and now as the project has grown, the amputees are finding us with the efforts of putting the information out there, the website that we have, the Facebook page that we have, and all those good reasons.
So just to recap, which organisations and professionals do you work with in the community?
In Grenada, in the community, we work with the General Hospital for the of St. George's in Grenada, the chief orthopedic surgeon, who is now the chief administrator for the hospital. He's been very helpful to us. The Grenada National Council for the Disabled has come in and supported us in a good fashion. And I've just started communication with the Grenada National Diabetes Foundation. Where that collaboration is going to go is yet to be seen, but they are very supportive of what we do.
As the amputees are coming out of the woodwork, so to speak, is there a selection process once the client gets in touch with you?
Not really a selection process, but there is an evaluation process, of course. We go and see the individual as they get introduced to us and evaluate them for the process and make sure that we can help them in a positive way. Not everyone can be helped right off the bat, so a selection process, no, but an evaluation process, yes.
Okay, so what and where are the biggest challenges in the work you do?
Well, applying a prosthetic leg to an individual, an amputee, is a challenge in itself. Although we have been very successful at it, challenges come in form of positive communication, come in the form of being able to locate the people, being able to go see them, because the way Grenada is in its essence, traveling for a lot of these people, just traveling can be a huge challenge. So the challenge for us is to go and see them sometimes. And when you have you don't really have an address, street name or an address for a person, it could be a challenge just finding them out in the bush. That's challenge number one. Challenge number two would be to secure funding and secure the flow of materials that we need to upkeep the work that we've already done, and ensure that once a person is helped, that there is an ongoing support mechanism to upkeep that work. That would be probably right now for me to say the number one challenge, is to be able to look people in the eye and tell them that yes, we are here to stay, we can help you on an ongoing basis. That would be a huge challenge.
So to recap, getting to the people getting to you, it's transport, climbing up the mountains and down the mountains, and then secondly, funding for the material that has been received previously and donated.
Well, it's being able to apply a prosthetic leg to somebody that needs it is one thing, but being able to stand behind a promise that we are not going to go away like a lot of other aid organizations do. They come for a short period of time, apply certain help mediums, but then they inevitably go away and they don't leave a support mechanism behind. So like I said, to look somebody in the eye and tell them that we are here to stay and we will help you for the duration of your need.
To you, what is the impact on the clients knowing that they can receive a new leg?
The impact is very hard to evaluate for somebody that has not been in that situation. One thing that I can say is that the level of gratitude is more in the hug that you get afterwards than it is the actual physicality of being able to make somebody a leg. The impact is very hard for me to put a number on, but I know that it is a life-changing event for a number of people.
What do you feel you need for your work to have even more of an impact?
What do I need? Support. Up until now, the main engine behind the Tacha Lei Grenada has been the enormous generosity and goodwill of Mr. Åsa Christensen from OK Prosthetics in Iceland. Through his generosity in donating to us the materials and the technology and the training needed to do this, we are where we are at. Now it is the need has come to ensure the upkeep of that.
As in, continue ensuring the materials.
Continuing to ensure the flow of materials to upkeep what's already been done and to add to what we have been doing, yes.
So, tell us a bit about how you came, or what your qualifications are. A little bit of your background that brought you to be doing this today.
Well, I am a mechanical engineer and machinist, and then I worked for 12 years as a prosthetics engineer for the Össur company in Iceland. And through my employment there, I was introduced to all levels and aspects of prosthetics application, both with fitting patients and doing research and development work of componentry. And on that experience is what I'm basing this on.
Cool. So why do you do this work?
Because it's needed, and because I can, and it's a beautiful thing. It's you can't really, like I said, to do something valuable gives me an enormous value, and so paying it forward, making a difference, helping people,
giving people the opportunity to see that they can be independent again.
Give them their mobility back and give them some sense of pride.
Okay, so once you've decided you're going to make a leg, how long does it take you normally for the process, for the actual fitting? Is it a week or is it 2 days?
Normally there would be, after an evaluation, depending on the state of the residual limb. Sometimes I need to give them 2 weeks of preparation to get the volume of the residual limb down to a level where we can easily fit a leg over it. Once that preparation period is done, the actual process of making a limb for a person, it takes about 2 hours.
2 hours?
About 2 hours. They come to me in a wheelchair and then they leave walking on a limb.
And is there any period of rehabilitation that's required?
There is. And this is one of the, maybe I should have brought that up under the challenges portion of it, but yes, depending on the age of the patient, there is of course a period of getting accustomed to walking on a prosthetic leg. It depends on how long it's been since the amputation. In a few cases, it's been a few years where there's been a few years of inactivity, where there's an atrophy of the muscles and the tendons, to where there would be rehabilitation or physiotherapy would be needed to help them get on get into walking on a prosthetic leg a little bit quicker. But Grenadians are tough and resilient, and they've taken to this very quickly actually.
Do you see this an area that could be more support for the people? Like, is there a physio that is working with you, or of some form of rehab available?
There is a physiotherapy department available at the General Hospital. Unfortunately, they have a backlog of patients needing their help, so it can take a little bit of a long time for people to get into the program there. But yes, it is available. Is that something that we could try to improve upon? Yes. I have been introduced to one or two individuals who are privately providing physiotherapy services. That is a really good thing, but that also implies there is a monetary outlet for that. That's a cost that a lot of people are not able to absorb. So yes, physiotherapy for people that need it is one of the challenges that we face as well.
Are you able to describe the process, the actual making in the 2 hours, just briefly, nothing?
Well, the simplicity and the technology of the modular prosthetic system that we use, it originates from the Össur company, and it is an invention of Mr. Össur Christensen. It is called a direct socket technology, and the difference between this system versus the old school way of making a prosthetic leg is that we do the whole process on site. Instead of making a plaster of Paris cast, take that off site, fill that up with plaster of Paris to get a positive, reduce that, make a test socket, have the patient come back and forth, where the process takes about up to a week to get anywhere near to make the actual prosthetic leg. We do everything right then and there, and we make the cast, the actual fiberglass and resin socket. We laminate that directly onto the residual limb of the patient. So there is no need for any kind of guessing for the fit. We do it right then and there, and the patient is up and walking on the leg within 2 hours.
Fantastic. Is there anyone you'd like to, or any person that you've met that you maybe could talk about the reason they lost their leg, or and how they've taken to their new leg, and how life has completely turned around for them?
There's quite a few people that I could mention that are very memorable, but one that comes to mind is Mr. Fabian Greenidge, who was unfortunate enough to get on the bitter end of a sharp cutlass, where some kind of madness went about. He got severely injured, and he lost a leg under the knee, he lost an arm just below the elbow, and he lost a thumb on the residual hand as well. And I met him by accident actually. I was driving up the road in his neighborhood, and I see somebody jumping down the road on one leg with determination, and it was unbelievable. So I stopped the car, and I stopped him, and we started talking, and that's how I met Fabian. Made him a leg. It was no question. He was somebody. I had the material, I had the resources. There was somebody that really needed it, and I made him a leg right then and there, no questions asked. And the change for this man in particular is it's hard to imagine exactly what it represents, but just seeing him today, this is 2.5 years after the fact, and his mobility is back, and he is able to move around, and the impact on this gentleman in particular is absolutely enormous, and it's a beautiful thing.
It's a crazy story, but great ending. I like
There you
it.
go.
So, to recap, it's not just people that suffer from diabetes who have amputation. There's also people that are in domestic that you see as well, to be able to give them a better quality of life. So, diabetes.
Well, if you end up for one reason or another getting amputated, whether the reasons are there's trauma by accident, there's trauma by injury, then there's the diabetes factor, which is a huge issue in the Caribbean, not here just in Grenada, but diabetes is a big issue in Grenada. And yes, these are the end results of a lot of these traumas, injuries, and illnesses due to they result in amputations, unfortunately. But it shouldn't mean that life is over. There should be, and we have proven that now. What we've established with Attache de Grenada is that we have created a support mechanism, and it has been very successful and well received, and it's a beautiful thing. And our goal is to ensure the continuation of this support.
And to continue this, you need financial support.
Funding.
In funding, financially, materials, resources.
Everything that you mentioned, materials, resources, all of it requires funding, unfortunately. And the way of the world today is that nothing is but with the help with the assistance of good people, it can be made available to people who cannot afford to pay the whole cost of it themselves.
And with all these resources, we can take people out of their houses and put them back into the world so they can move again.
So they can not only move again, but they can become productive people again, like they were before the trauma that they sustained, to become the same productive people that they used to. They can work their garden, grow their vegetables, they can go back to the job they had, be it a bus driver or a fisherman or whatever the case may be. That it shouldn't have to become a life-changing experience to where you are completely dependent on other people after a traumatic experience like that.
Okay, thank you for your time this morning, and we hope to talk again.
Well, thank you so much, and thank you for your attention to this.